So this question is about recording gear and what to do if you don't really have a budget for expensive recording gear, and can you make good quality recordings with cheap gear? And this question comes from Steven, and Steven, I don't know what gear you are talking about that you have, but my opinion on recording gear is that the technology that we have now is pretty amazing in that if you've got a decent computer, um, you can make really good recordings with some pretty cheap gear. And the basics for recording that you need if you've got a computer is you need an audio interface that's either a USB or a FireWire little box that you plug in. The interface then allows you to plug mics into it. That usually includes preamps. Might have one or two inputs for a mic or two, and really that's all you need to get started. So if you have a couple mics, you can get some cheap mics that can sound good. The Shure SM57 is a definite bet, especially if you are doing electric guitar or a number of other things. And there are some good condenser mics that can give you a good sound for $100 or less. So what it really comes down to is learning a little bit about recording and doing some research. So that might mean mic placement. That's really an important thing to experiment with. If you're not getting a good guitar sound, don't start blaming the gear immediately. There are a couple of things you might try. Play with the mic position. See what happens when you change the placement of it. Play with a little bit of EQ. So if you got it close to the way you wanted it to sound, but it's just not sounding good, like within the song or whatever, do some research into EQing that specific instrument. There's all kinds of resources out there on the internet to help you make good recordings with pretty cheap gear. My entire first album was recorded with a couple of SM57s that I bought used for less than $100 each, and a really cheap condenser mic into a really cheap USB interface into my computer. That's all it was. So, it is possible to make music that people will want to listen to with really cheap gear. What it really comes down to is just learning how to use it. So, I want to help you do that a little bit. I want to point you in the direction of places that can really help you a lot more. But, definitely go out there and just start playing with it. Do some research on pieces of gear, different techniques to make it sound better, and I think it'll go a long way for you.